Okie dokie. Hello. Oh wow, I feel so tiny. Let me fix myself before I get this game to show up for us. But hi Shinobi, how are you doing? Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I need to make the screen bigger so that I can see what is that going on in the chat. But yeah, how are you doing? I've been better. I actually have a bit of a headache today. Not really feeling 100% the best. But at the same time, I absolutely refused to not stream today and not do this little codex reading that I keep saying that I plan to do. This would be like the 4th week that I would have had to cancel the Steelrising little codex reading that I've been planning to do because I wanted to get back caught up and like make sure I know what the heck is going on with the story. I refuse to do it again. Because if I don't do it, the next week has to be it. And I want to play, like, just play the side quest. Like, if we're gonna see how I feel today, if, like, we get to any side quests. Because originally my plan for the codex reading was we would read through the codex. I didn't actually expect for the codex to take very long. I was gonna look through the codex, look at the lore, see what things I might have missed. And then I'd do some side quests. And the stream would really just be a side questing stream. We will see how I'm feeling. I'm hoping I can at least do maybe one side quest today, but genuinely, like, we're gonna see how I feel. So that's why I already like put it up that it's a possibility of a shorter stream. I don't know how long. It's also why stream started late, because I usually I've been trying to start stream at 5. Hi. My cat has also been very annoying as of late. It's like the second I sit at my PC, she comes. Can you please move your butt from in front of me? So this is what I've been dealing with. The last few days, basically all week, she has been doing this. So yeah, but that's kind of how I'm feeling. But how are you doing, Shinobi? I also will probably do a shorter stream slightly because I also want to make sure that I'm good for tomorrow for y'all. Like, I originally wanted to like start up ESO tonight so I could like remember how to play, but I might do it tomorrow. I might try to like boot up ESO. Well, one, make sure I have it still on my computer. I'm gonna try to like, if it's not, I will download it tonight, so that tomorrow I can boot it up a little bit and see where the heck I am, because I don't know. And then you guys will have to tell me like where you guys are, because I believe I'm in the first area, but at the same time, and this is probably good for you to know too, at the same time, I believe your first like area that you can start to explore with friends varies depending on what race you are. So like which race, and like, because I think depending on the race you end up being in one of 3 factions. So it depends on what faction you're in. So I will have to look at that tomorrow so I can, I guess, message y'all and find out what faction we're in, because I have, yeah, it really does actually matter where you start, because like I believe if you're like a drow, and if you're a girl, no, you can't sit on my laptop. You can't sit on my laptop. I believe if like you're a drow or like a lizard folk and like somebody else and you're part of one faction, if you're part of like Bosmers, the, oh my goodness, how did I just, the Khajiit, and there's one more, you're in one faction. And if you're part of the like there's another 3, if you're part of that, then you're part of that faction. And the reason I say that is because I have one character that I'm playing with one friend. Well, technically I'm playing with them with the same friend, but I have one character that I play with the friend, and the character I play with them is an elf, because I'm a Bosmer, so we're in the same area. And then I believe the character I play with, my lizard folk, I play with her drow because they're the same faction. So it depends on which one. So what's gonna happen is if you guys get into the game before I get to like re-download my game, let me know what your race is. Because if anything, like if my character is not in that faction, I will just make another one. It's not a big deal. I'll make another character if I'm able to. I will make another character for that faction. So yeah, other thing for you to know, because I don't want you to start up this game tomorrow. And Rogue, no, you can't lay on my laptop. No. Stop it. I'm sorry, she's been really frustrating me lately because she keeps laying on my laptop keys. Yes, that's actually what I was about to say to you. You might want to start up the game before you stream, because from what I remember, the tutorial is a separate area, and I think if my memory serves me correctly, it is more than like a tutorial. It's like, you know how some MMOs, they'll give you a tutorial, but the tutorial is really like a starting mission area, and that you can't start to like play with friends until you leave that starting mission area. I believe it's like that. So from what I remember with both my lizard folk and I'm also saying lizard folk because I don't remember the name. So like all of you Elder Scrolls Skyrim people, please don't hate me for not remembering the name of my lizard lady. Yeah, so you're gonna want to play it because I remember with my lizard and with my Bosmer, I had to go through like a series of events, I think, to get to the next thing. So I could be able to play with my friend. Like she was like, yeah, you gotta get past this. And it's like a whole storyline. Honestly, I will say this though. That'll also be a perfect chance for y'all to see if y'all actually like ESO. I personally liked it. I enjoyed reading through the lore. It actually does have good dialogue and story. If you're going to read through it and actually like get into it, it actually is pretty interesting and fun from what I remember. Because there's gonna be a lot of it. You're gonna have a whole little storyline, quest line that you're gonna do before you can play with me, before you get to the hub. So I've been so like out of it this week. I haven't been able to like get into the mind of ESO, but I've been like subconsciously meaning to message y'all to see, because I think you said Mac said that they kind of have played it before and they just had to download it again, but I know that you're new in ESO, so yeah, you're gonna want to do your starting thing, and I will choose my character based off of what you choose. So you let me know what you end up choosing, and then when I go in, I will act accordingly. And I will either make a new character or I won't. But yeah, so if I have to make a new character, I will try to play earlier so that I can also be up to date with y'all with what's happening. But yeah, welcome to the MMORPG world, Shinobi. You'll hit us up later tonight? Nice. Okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, I've been meaning to tell you, because it's like, I haven't played tons of MMORPGs, but every one that I have played, it's been like that, and I remember ESO was like that. I remember it was like that, because like, even when I was starting it, I was like, I want to play with you. My friend who had played it first, she was like, play it with me, and then I got in, I was like, cool, can I give you my name? She was like, no, you gotta get to me first. Like, you aren't where I can reach you yet. You have to progress the story. Just like I used to be like that with like Black Desert. Like I'd get my friends to play. They'd be like, great, now can I play with you? I'll be like, nope, you have to do the quest. You have to do the starting quest. I mean, I can start a character with you if you want. So maybe I'm in the same like area, but technically I can't befriend you until you finish. I used to play Neverwinter on Xbox and fell off. I feel like there's so many like MMORPGs that I kind of like had started and don't. I see what you're about to do. Yeah, back up. Thank you. Sorry, I had a moment. Like at one point I was playing Guild Wars 2, which I liked. I liked Guild Wars 2, but I only stopped playing it because I didn't have friends to play with. And that game was very much like you wanted friends to play with you in Guild Wars 2. So I just didn't have people to play with, so I stopped that. I used to be obsessed. I used to play Black Desert Online like it was my job back when I was jobless. It was my job. I was dedicated to Black Desert. I wish I could go back to play. Like sometimes I honestly feel like an emptiness in me because sometimes I wish I could go back to that time period when like Black Desert was literally all I cared about and it was all I did. Like I spent every waking moment playing Black Desert Online. It was an amazing time until it ended tragically, but it was amazing. You tried Phantasy Star Online 2 last year. You think it fell off? I played Lost Ark last year and completely fell off. It was like Lost Ark was cool or whatever, but it also just wasn't enough to keep me going, if that makes sense. Like it looked nice or whatever, like the character creator was cool and the special like the effects and stuff were cool. But I don't know, it just there still was something that I just couldn't jive with Lost Ark. And then apparently like everybody else fell off of it. And it just became where everybody was endgame and nobody plays in the beginning of it. So you can't even finish the missions anymore because a lot of them you do actually need a group. But there's nobody at low levels to play with you. What other one had I started and then I stopped? I feel like there's a few. I had tried Lost Ark. Oh, I know what it is. I downloaded Monster Hunter Rise, and I never played it. I also had downloaded Wild Heart, but never played it. But the other two that I downloaded, and I like kind of started it, but didn't, one was Warframe. Because Warframe looks so cool, but like, I started it up and was so incredibly confused. I was confuddled. I didn't understand what I was doing. I started the game off weird. Like I started off accidentally with keyboard, then I switched to controller, but then they already had shown me the keyboard controls and then they didn't want to change it to the controller control. And it was weird. And then I started it and I realized that, oh, I don't like this machine or whatever it is that I am. The Warframe. I don't like this Warframe. I want to go back and make a new character. I didn't realize that in Warframe you can't do that. You aren't allowed to make new characters in Warframe. Like you can't just restart the game. Whatever Warframe you choose is the Warframe you choose. That's it. You can't redo it. So when I saw that, I just stopped because I was like, I don't like this Warframe. And everywhere I looked, they were like, oh, well, you know, the reason that's like that is because like technically you can get any Warframe you want within the game. I'm like, I don't care. I want to start with the Warframe I want to start with because I want to be able to ease into it with something I like. And I don't like this Warframe. So you telling me I can't change this Warframe? They're like, no, because if you just do the missions and stuff, then you can get a new Warframe and you'll have all the parts to do the new Warframe. And no. So I stopped. I didn't play. It pissed me off. And then I have Destiny 2 because one of my friends wanted me to play Destiny 2 with them, and then we never played it. So I never played Destiny 2. I just have it on Steam. I have it there. So yeah, You can see what I'm dealing with with my cat, obviously. You see what's happening. She is now sitting menacingly above my lamp so that she can look down at me like she's Batman or something. You have Wild Hearts and Monster Hunter Rise. Yeah, a lot of people I know have both of those games. I just never remember to play anything with people because I'm always stressed out about something. But I downloaded them purposely because I wanted to play with the people. That's why I downloaded Monster Hunter Rise, because I was like, oh, this looks so fun. And like a ton of people I know have it. I could play with people, and then I just never started it. Warframe is cool, but overwhelming. That's what it seems like. Like, there's this one streamer that I used to watch all the time. Well, I still sometimes watch them a lot. I'm still subbed. Pro Quesadilla. They're the one that made me want to get back into Warframe, but I just don't know what I'm doing, so I haven't. Like, every time they would do, like, a Warframe stream, and I feel like I was watching their Warframe streams, like, a year or two ago, because they were, like, always playing Warframe at one point, like, last year, or, like, 2 years ago, and they made it look so fun, but, like, I don't know what I'm doing, so I can't. I don't know what I'm doing. They might have changed that. So many changes over the years. Maybe. But, like, I feel like even when I played Warframe, it had been out for a long time. And everybody was just like, there's just a core component of the game. So I was just like, okay, fine. Let it be a core component of the game. I'm just not going to play them for now. Why are you looking at me like that? She looks so mean right now because of the light. Oh, you clipped it. Yeah, I need to have a clip command. I need to make a clip command. You doing the clip thing makes me remember. I just don't know how to do it. I need to look into it. I need to look up how to do the clip command, actually. I just want to see the clip real quick. I can't help it. I must see it. I look so fed up. Oh my god. I look so annoyed. I love how I just started talking to you about MMORPGs instead of reading through the codex. That's what I started doing. That's kind of the day it is, though. I feel like you can even tell by my eyes. I feel like my eyes are always way more closed when I don't feel the best. Like, sometimes I look back at the clips because I have to, like, or at the videos, and I can always tell when I'm not feeling the best that day because my eyes are damn near closed. Like, most of the time, whether I'm tired or, like, I just don't feel the best or something, or I'm low energy, my eyes are, like, it's like, I have to see, like, it's such a chore to open them up. But yeah, so, but at least I'm happy I told you that about ESO, because that was very important, because the one thing I always would hate was the absolute worst thing is when, like, you plan to, like, play a game with friends and you're like, yeah, we're gonna play a game, whether it's streaming or not, and you guys are like, yeah, we're gonna play a game at this time, and y'all both get on at that time, just to then realize y'all can't play together for, like, a good hour because y'all both got to do the tutorials and, like, the starting quests to even get to each other, or there's, like, one person who already is at the area that they can be at, and they never told anybody that, like, they have to do, like, an hour worth of, like, starting quests to even reach them, and then the person gets in the game, and they're like, oh, yay, I can play with you, and you're like, oh, no, you didn't start the game up? Oh, I thought that you started the game up, you can't play with me yet, and another person's just like, what do you mean? You asked me to play. And they're like, oh yeah, but I thought that you would have already turned it on. I thought that you did. So I'm here to tell you, I'm happy that I was able to catch you and tell you that today. Yeah, and I've been meaning to message you. If anything, I was telling myself today that I need to, like, check that stuff after stream so that I could, like, let you know. And like I might even, or you can do it too, one of us needs to like message in our little group chat to make sure that Mac remembers, like just to make sure that Mac is in like like state in the game that he can play, so that we can all play together. And if he's not, then we have to at least all agree that we're going to play a race within the same faction, because that's what it is. Like there is a choice of races within each faction, but it is where you need to be one of them. At least in the beginning, because I think like I believe when you obviously have progressed a lot, then it's a lot easier to get all around because you've already discovered all the places. But like at least in the beginning, I think you discover different places at different times, depending on your race. I didn't get that far, so that's the reason why it's still important for me to know, because I don't know that many places. I haven't been to that many cities or towns. Maybe one town each outside of the starting zone from my boss bear and my lizard lady. So I can't just go and teleport to where y'all are, because I don't have the teleport stations for that. Unfortunately. At least if my memory is serving me correctly. I believe that's how it is. But yeah. So, but despite that, let me actually get in and start looking through the codex before it becomes an hour and I haven't done it, because that is the whole thing. Because I really I know that you finished the game, Shinobi. Congratulations, by the way. I know that you finished the game. I do plan to do side quests. I know that at one point you would like, screw these side quests, I'm gonna finish it. And honestly, I feel you. But I'm too compelled to still do side quests. I can't help myself. So I'm gonna do the side quest still. And now I also, from the last time I played, now that I've had so much time, I have to get myself back in the zone. I remembered the last time I played, I was like getting really invested in the story, and I wanted to make sure that I remembered everything from it so I could be invested in the story. So that's why I wanted to do the codex, because I'm also hoping that it'll make me remember. Ooh, what are you doing next? What's the next thing on your backlog? Which also, speaking of like games and stuff, I finally decided. I feel like I'm just talking to you, just like we're just on the phone right now. But I also did mention this on stream before, and I think I asked all like you guys, and I think you might have been here, and I had asked about how, oh, I don't know what to do with like Jakara. I don't know what to, that made it seem like I said I don't know what to do with Jakara. Hi Jakara, how are you doing? But I remember I asked y'all one time, I was like, oh, I don't know what I should do about my archive account. Like, I don't know if I should like keep my archive as my archive and then do a separate one for like edited videos, or if I should just merge them together and stuff. I finally decided. I am making a decision. Yeah, exactly. What were you doing? I'm sorry. My cat is a person. She was trying to pull a thumbtack from the wall and it wouldn't come out, because duh. What are you doing? Anyways, I finally figured out what I'm gonna do about the YouTube. I finally made a decision, and I made a decision because I was starting to edit the video, right? I started editing one of my Steelrising videos, and like, to be honest, I am kind of enjoying editing. I'm still very new, so I don't fully know what I'm doing, but I'm editing it down into like more digestible chunks, because one, I talk a lot. Exhibit A. I've been talking for like 30 minutes. I talk a lot, and I have a lot of pauses during my stream. Naturally, you know, like streams, we talk a lot. We're like regular people and whatnot. But so I was editing down all of that so I could get to like the gameplay, because I know that I saw somewhere on Twitter where they were like, oh, y'all have to find your niche on like YouTube if you're gonna make YouTube, because the Let's Play is dead and blah blah blah. And you know what, I hear them, but I also don't care, because I still watch Let's Plays, and if I watch them, somebody else out there still does too. So I'm making them for them, because I, if anything, get upset because there's not enough Let's Plays sometimes for the games I want to watch. Like that was a real thing that I was dealing with, because all of the YouTubers I liked stopped making Let's Plays, and I was quite upset. So I'm gonna make Let's Plays. I don't care what anybody says, I'll make Let's Plays. But I started editing it, and I realized like, one, the archive account was there so that I can archive my streams, like, unedited, like, I still have the file someplace, you know? So on that front, it's amazing because I don't have all of my videos anymore, obviously. So I can go in there and supposedly, hopefully download it and have the video again. And two, I'm not going to be able to keep up with the schedule I have for posting Let's Plays. Also, hi Les, how are you doing? I've been a little blah today. I had a bit of a headache. I still feel very low energy. So it's going to be a kind of chill day. It's going to be a codex reading, lore reading, maybe a side quest. Possibly a short stream. I've kind of just been talking to Shinobi this whole time about MMORPGs and other random stuff that I've been talking about, and my cat is being a menace at the same time. But I decided that I wasn't going to be able to keep up. No, wasn't going to be able to keep up with the schedule I have for myself for the archive account. So instead, the archive account will stay the archive account. It will just be the raw footage of the stream. However long the stream is, that's going to be it. And then I will make a new YouTube. And that one will be edited videos. And then I can actually figure out when I want my streaming, like my upload schedule to be. I can put them in more digestible chunks so that they don't have to be like 2-hour videos, because I don't necessarily want to upload 2-hour videos. Maybe an hour at max. I would like to do maybe like 45-minute videos for the Let's Plays, if I'm being honest. And if I'm feeling creative, I could make like a little tiny intro or something before and after. So, that's what I'm going to do. So I will let you guys know when that happens. I think I am, and this is the reason why I also mentioned it. I think I'm going to start the channel with Steelrising, because I have all of this footage of Steelrising videos. Like, I think I have like 11 streams from Steelrising. And I'll probably still be uploading videos by the time I finish Steelrising. So I think I'm going to start Steelrising as my first one. Especially because part of me, while I was editing that stream, realized that maybe these Let's Plays might be some of the best ways for other people to rewatch it. Because I can actually edit the volume of the audio during the game. Like during the cutscene parts when I'm not talking. Because I tend to talk a lot more than the audio is up for the speaking and the dialogue, so I can fix that and like manage the audio. I don't have them on separate audio tracks because I'm not tech savvy like that, but that's what I can do. Also, enjoy your lurk, Shinobi. Thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, she's an adorable menace. Dead Island 2, Saints Row, Killer Frequency. Oh yeah, I did see him playing Killer Frequency the other day. Star Wars, Def Jam Fight for New York. Nice, yeah. I definitely saw you playing Killer Frequency. I remembered he was mentioning Killer Frequency to me the other day, too. You're flying to Cyprus on Tuesday? Finally time for vacation? Nice! I hope you enjoy your vacation. I hope that it's fantastic. And how are you doing, Jakara? Because you didn't answer me. But also, we're going to do the codex. We're going to jump into the codex finally. I've been talking for like 30 minutes. I've talked enough. Also, I hope that you guys are doing okay. Like I kind of was saying before I was going on that whole long-winded conversation about YouTube and stuff like that. I'm doing okay. I've been better. I'm kind of today. I started off stream with a bit of a headache. And part of me, even though it's kind of sort of gone away, I know that it hasn't. I know that it really is just on the back burner because I got a little bit of adrenaline because I've been talking. And that more than likely it's going to be back in like a little bit. I'm also hot. So I'm not really feeling the best. So it might be a shorter stream. It's also why I started stream a bit late today. So expect probably a shorter stream. I might just end when I get hungry and want to go eat food. So we're going to read through the codex. I'm going to kind of try to get caught up with the lore because the last time I played, which was like 3 weeks ago or something, or 4 weeks ago, we were getting to a part where we had a lot of side quests and where the story was starting to get more interesting. So I just wanted to like make sure I'm caught up with all of the different little details, and then maybe we'll do a side quest if I'm feeling up to it. And that's kind of how it's gonna go. I feel like I was gonna say something else and I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh, all it was is that I know that, like, usually, most of the time when I say I don't feel very good, everybody's like, oh, well, you could have canceled stream, it would have been fine, we would have understood, and I get that, but today, I refuse to do it, because I have been saying that I was going to do this codex reading for almost 3 weeks now. For almost like 3 to 4 weeks at this point. I've been saying I was going to do codex reading. And I still have not gotten to do it. Because I keep ending up having to cancel the stream, or I'm not up to it, so I change the game and I play something else. So I refused. So I'm like, even if it has to be a shorter stream, I'm going to check out this codex and maybe do a side quest. No! Stop it. Stop knocking everything down with your tail. You're doing good, you just got home and you're playing Fortnite. Oh, you've been playing a lot of Fortnite. But then again, I can't say anything because I've also been very obsessed with like Satisfactory, and I've just been playing Satisfactory constantly. That's all I've been playing. Rogue, I can't see anything. Oh wait, my thing isn't up. I forgot I used my PNG to fix that real quick. There we go. I had to look around my cat because she won't move. I'm probably gonna pick her up in a moment though, because I need to see. Oh, let me get my controller. This isn't for you. She's so needy. But yeah, but that's kind of how things are going. I'm happy though that it seems like you guys are all doing well. I feel like, and I admitted this to my mom because I've been partially trying to not admit this. I think that I'm just burnt out. I think that preparing for Brooklyn Comic Con, I think it burnt me out. I've been trying to be in denial about it and like not say that I'm burnt out and just say, oh, I'm just tired. That's it. I think it burnt me out a little bit because I haven't done any art at all since the convention. I've had like no desire to touch my like pen. The only art I've had to do was like art I had to do, like if that makes sense. So like that's the only time I've been doing art. What was I about to do? I needed to fix something. Oh yeah, this. Alright, hopefully everything loads in properly the first time. Because so far, every time I get into this game, it doesn't fully render all the way. And I end up having to like redo it all. And this still doesn't look fully rendered in. If I'm being real. I feel like the dirt usually had more texture to it. Like, it's sad that this has become a thing I have to do every time. Like, I'm only doing I'm just gonna do a codex reading and some simple stuff, but I still want to make sure that it runs properly. Because the last thing I want is for me to, like, not have it working. And then it does this. I don't know. Like, it doesn't look as bad as it usually does when I first load it. But somehow I still feel like it's not fully rendered. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Anyways. I want to look through all of the stuff today. And we're just gonna kind of be chilling. We're gonna be chilling. Maybe I'll do a side quest, but it's just... Today was really a day so that I could read through the codex and maybe, like, catch up with you guys, because it is gonna be a short stream, probably. The doctor's pouch? Where did this come from? Found at the home of Dr. Louis Ulumi, Luminaire, the king's primary physician. This bag contains bandages, balms, remedies, and surgical instruments. There is enough here to provide first aid to a wounded person. It's a precious find on the first day of a nameless war that has already claimed countless victims. Oh man, I just realized something, and I hate this for me because of what it means. And it is that since I have to read so much today, I need my glasses. And where did I put my glasses? Because it's gonna be easier for me just to have my glasses on and not have to like kind of sort of squint. But I don't remember where I put them. But I do have these other ones. I do have my old glasses. Hold on. Oh, they fell. They fell from my cat. That's where they are. Because it was like I thought that they were on my desk. I could have sworn they were on my desk. Yeah. If I was hoping my headache wasn't going to come back, now it probably will because I had to put my glasses on. So if anything, I'm going to try to sit back and hope and pray for the best. Sit up a little bit so that I'm not so far down in the frame. But yeah. Found in the garden of the Hotel de Vaucanson, this silver pent knife belongs to Mademoiselle de Vaucanson. When she grasped it, Aegis was met with an alarming vision. She saw the girl running from the premises to escape the royal automats that were chasing her. Oh, yes, this is the pen knife, I guess, that belonged to, what's her face? To the daughter of somebody. I forget their name. And thus Golden Key opens the door known as the Penitent's door near the Châtelet. In keeping with the tradition specific to this part of Paris, the gate is only open one day a year, on Good Friday. On this occasion, clergymen and parishioners process through it to Ingles Saint Jacques de la Boissière. Oh, okay, I remember this. One of the like priest people I think gave us it. Because he had the key, because he was supposed to be the person to open it up for this year or whatever. So the next quest that we're gonna have to do is this, but we're not doing it yet because I feel like there's so much stuff that I can do before I get here. To escape his enemies, Monsieur Marat had gone into hiding in the quarries to the north of Paris. According to Monsieur de Robespierre, he was the only person who could help Aegis get to the Bastille. To find the mysterious Monsieur Marat, Aegis must venture into the mining tunnels in Montmartre. Yeah, so this is the next thing we have to do. I remember that. So we're gonna leave that because we have all these side quests. We have a gazillion side quests. I want to look at the notes first. Oh wait, no, the notes are just the things that we said. Main characters, we have Aegis. Created by Eugene de Vaucanson, Aegis is an extremely sophisticated... Oh, so I'm made by Vaucanson. Aegis is an extremely sophisticated automat who was assigned to be, the Queen's bodyguard by Louis what would that be? Louis the 16th, I think. There is reason to believe that this new type of machine possesses a form of free will. Unlike its fellow creations, it can speak and adapt its behavior to unexpected situations. As Monsieur de Vaucanson never mentioned its existence, no one knows exactly how this feat was accomplished. But that also explains why everybody's so confused by us. Eugene de Vaucanson. Eugene was orphaned at the age of 10 and taken in by his uncle, the famous automation maker Jacques de Vaucanson, who immediately made him his pupil. For years, he worked quietly in the shadow of his protector. In 1772, the aging engineer, having grown weary, handed over his duties and the keys to his workshop to his nephew. The pupil had long since surpassed the master, and Eugene de Vaucanson was now free to introduce his own innovations, which were far superior to his uncle's old methods. His machines, with their unprecedented sophistication, were soon celebrated at court and praised by the by the future Louis XVI, who was fascinated by mechanics and clockwork. The king expressed his desires to see automations move out of the curiosity cabinets and into the service of his subjects. He therefore commissioned Eugene de Vaucanson to lead the great mechanical revolution that was to change the face of the kingdom. Showered with accolades and endowed with unlimited resources, the young inventor threw himself wholeheartedly into this endeavor. In the space of a few years, his machines became part of French life, and the streets of Paris were filled with mechanical messengers, guards, and porters. The most affluent people filled their salons with tireless dancers and musicians for entertainment. But Louis XVI did not intend to stop there. He had in mind a great undertaking, a miracle that Eugene de Vaucanson was still unable to accomplish. Vaucanson then received the support of the Comte de Calixtro, the crown's shadow advisor. It was from this association and the secrecy of the Invalidist workshop that the impossible was achieved, the first automat for which no key would ever be needed to wind. So the machines had already really been around for a long time. I wasn't actually sure how long they had the machines for, or just how integrated they were into society. Oh, my thing had fell. But that makes sense. It almost feels like iRobot in a way. There we go. Sorry, I was trying to get this thing off. It was magnetic and I'm just getting stuck to it. But yeah, I wasn't sure actually how long that they had been around. So that kind of makes sense because it feels like how iRobot was, because with iRobot, the whole thing was that the robots had already been around. There had already been robots involved in society. They were already people's maids or workers, things like that. They were the mail carriers. They were already used throughout the society for, different things they needed. And then they created these robot 2.0s that kind of didn't need the same type of, I guess in a way, lock and key as the other ones did as well, because they had no real off switch and they could just be mass controlled, if anything, from the place in which they were originated from. Whereas the other ones, I think you could turn it off. So that kind of feels the same way. It feels like that. Louis XVI, the Clockwork King. Hello, girlie. What are you doing? Yeah, she's back. I also thought that my music would be up louder, but it is not. So, if it feels too quiet, just tell me, and I will put some music on for us so that we're not just sitting here in absolute quietness today. And I'll do that. Bro, what is it? What? You're complaining, but what are you complaining about? Yeah? Come on. Hello. Sorry, my cat is here. It also feels very quiet. I think I will put on at least something in the background for now. Because it feels, of course you sit exactly where I need to see. Of course you sit where I need to see. Okay. Just while I'm reading all this, while I'm reading all this stuff. Because it's just so quiet. Do. Hopefully it doesn't sound like double music while I'm in here. If anything, maybe what I'll do is I will turn down the audio a little bit while I'm doing this. Just to make sure that it doesn't feel like it's really loud. And then I'll turn it back up if we get into side quests today. that should hopefully help. Turned it down a little bit so that it's still not like super duper loud while I do this. Y'all can let me know how it is and I'll adjust accordingly. Alright, anyway, Clockwork King. Heir to the Bourbon dynasty, Louis XVI has reigned over the Kingdom of France for 15 years. Naturally timid and reluctant to rule, he avoided the company of courtiers. Is that how you say courtiers? Preferring instead the solitary study of mechanics, clockmaking, and designing automats. Driven by this passion, he engaged the services of Eugene de Vaucanson. This decision foreshadowed the Great Mechanical Revolution that would change the face of the country forever. As most of the kingdom's resources were invested in producing ever more complex machines, the living conditions of the king's subjects worsened quickly. When his contribution to the American War of Independence emptied the treasury, the people sank into abject poverty. Louis XVI paid little heed to the plight of the French people. In 1787, the death of his 11-month-old daughter led him to turn away from them completely. It was only in 1789 that Minister Necker, faced with imminent ruin, was able to convince him to convene the Estates General. This assembly of representatives of the nobility, clergy, and the people, who met in Versailles, was tasked with establishing the conditions for levying new taxes. But the deputies of the Third Estate did not intend to stop there. Some went so far as to challenge the king's very authority. Louis XVI, who was devastated by the death of his eldest son a month after the start of the talks, showed troubling signs of disorientation. On the 20th of June, he called an end to the Estates General, had the representatives of the people in the Salle de Jeu de Paume dispersed, and declared all his supposed opponents to be outlaws. He signed an edict ordering all Parisians to remain indoors until the ringleaders had been arrested. Any sign of disobedience would lead to action by the armed forces. During the night of the 23rd to the 24th of June, the people turned a deaf ear to these threats, set up barricades, and prepared to fight. Huh? Yeah, so like one, obviously the king is like the villain here. I wonder if like he's gonna end up being one of the final bosses, like if his boss is going to be an automat as well. Because it seems as though like his entire thing, like all of his sanity went towards creating automats and like the advancements of the machines and everything like that, and he kind of just stopped caring about the people. And that could be why there's just so many of these machines everywhere. Marie Antoinette, plucked from the imperial court in Austria as a girl. It's also kind of interesting to see like how they write their stories based off history, but also based off the game, if that makes sense. And that's coming from somebody who doesn't fully remember all of the history, but it's still like kind of cool to like hear their version of like what history happened with automats. Marie Antoinette, plucked from the imperial court in Austria as a girl, Marie Antoinette was just 14 years old on the day of her marriage to the future Louis XVI. She was seen as an interloper at Versailles, and from the moment she arrived, she was subjected to the taunts and abuse of courtiers who were jealous of her status. As queen, she has always tried to avoid etiquette and intrigue. She spends most of her time at the Petit Trianon and in the farm she had built for herself away from the palace, where she attempts to lead a carefree life in the company of a handful of loyal friends. Outside the walls of the royal estate, she is still seen as the Austrian. The people criticize her lavish lifestyle, her allegedly loose morals, and the bad advice she is said to give her husband. In truth, the queen is no longer the same oblivious princess who was presented to the court 19 years ago. She is now a broken woman mourning the loss of two of her children. Her husband's increasingly erratic and irrational behavior gives her the utmost cause for concern. Why on earth did he have her taken to the Chateau de St. Cloud when there is a threat of civil war? Does he want to protect her or keep her in a cage? Wonder if we'll end up seeing Marie again. Charlotte and the Petite Dauphine, the royal children. Marie Therese Charlotte 11 and Louis Charles 4 are the surviving daughter and son of the royal couple. The boy, heir apparent to the French crown since the death of his brother, is commonly called the Petite Dauphine. Oh, okay, that's actually good for me to know. I actually did not realize that. Since the death of his brother is commonly called the Petite Dauphine, in the care of their governess, Gabrielle de Polignac. They lead the carefree life of the children of their rank in Versailles. I actually did not know that the Petite Dauphine was the son of the royals. I actually didn't know that. Hey, Eldridge. How are you doing as well? I'm doing all right. I was saying earlier, I love how I said I'm doing all right just instinctively. I'm actually okay. I've been a little bland today. I've been a little better. So I have a bit of a headache, and I have a feeling it's gonna come back. But I've been saying that I was gonna do a codex reading for Steelrising for like 3 weeks, and I keep putting it off or like canceling stream. So I refuse to cancel it again. So I'm reading through the codex because we reached a point where there's now a lot of side quests, and part of me has felt as though like there's parts of the plot or the story that I didn't catch because in the very beginning I was so focused on not dying that I didn't really pay attention. So I want to like get myself back up to speed with the characters and like who everybody is, because partially I've been confused with certain people and how certain people relate to other people and stuff, or the connections between them. So we're doing a bit of a codex reading today. It's probably going to be a shorter stream just because I'm not feeling the best. Originally it was going to be a codex reading and side questing. So like after I finished the codex, I was going to do side quests, but now it's going to really just be based off of how I'm feeling at the end. I was hoping to not have to wear my glasses, but it is a bit easier for me to read this with my glasses on instead of without, because instinctively I just start squinting, and that's also hard on my eyes. So I'm probably only going to get to read the codex because I have a feeling I'm going to have like an eye headache from staring at my screen too much. So that's kind of how it's going today. So yeah. That's what's happening. I don't like when I have to tell you guys I don't feel good, but at the same time, I'd rather be honest with y'all because, you know, we're all chilling, we're all people, you know. Nah, I appreciate you asking though, but there's nothing really you could do to help me. It's really just, I think that I'm just tired. I think I'm tired, a bit run down, and I was saying earlier that like, I've been trying not to admit it, but I know that you followed more recently, but in the beginning of this month, on like the 10th and the 11th of June, that weekend, I did my first art convention. So I did my first comic convention, and I was in an artist alley. And it was an amazing thing to do, but I've been trying not to admit it. I've been in denial, but I think it burnt me out a little bit. The prep for that, for my first time, really burnt me out. And I'm finally just admitting that I did, because I have not touched art since then. I've just been tired since then. And it's like, no matter what I do, I'm just so tired. I feel like I just can't rest enough. So that's kind of how I've been feeling lately. So. Yeah, I think that's why I've been in denial about it. I've been trying not to admit that I've been burnt out, because I hate when I get burnt out, because it does happen sometimes to me fairly frequently. I feel like I always get burnt out once a year, at least, which is really bad to say. But I really do feel like I at least get art block and burnt out once a year at some point, because somehow I do something where I obsess over it for months at a time, and then I'm like, well, that's enough art for me for 3 months. I just leave it. Yeah, so that's usually what happens. So I'm hoping, though, that it won't take as long to recover. Yeah, I hope I'll be feeling better, too. And I'm glad you get it. Are you an artist, too? Because then you really would get it. Then you definitely get it. Or any type of creative, really. burnout and stuff just, man, I get too obsessed with stuff. It happens with everything though. So like probably I'll be playing Satisfactory for like a month and then I'll be like, well, that's enough factory building for me, and I'll just not play for 6 months. That's a common occurrence when I really think about it with me with things. I get obsessed with something for a while and then I stop. And then I go back and then I stop. Oh, you just started recently? Well, congratulations on starting at least. That's always half of the battle, if anything. Majority of the battle. You recently swapped majors to digital art and animation despite my complete lack of art skill and experience. Oh, that's awesome though. That's also very exciting. It can be daunting, but that's very exciting. I hope that you enjoy it. I mean, at the end of the day, we all lack skill. It's really all practice. It's all practice. Like, yes, some people have natural talent, but you can only have but so much natural talent before you have to also practice. Like, it's the only way to get better. So definitely try not to get discouraged. Just try to keep learning and try to make sure you have fun. Like, try to make sure you find things that you enjoy with it, because that'll really help you keep going. Sometimes I personally find if I only do studies, I get bored. I have to have something that I also do for fun, or else I burn myself out. Just gotta figure out how to self-motivate to practice and I'll be fine. Yeah, I feel like motivation for practice is always hard. One of the things that I find that I do, I don't know if it'll work for you, and then I'll like start reading again, is I'm very bad at trying to practice. I'm starting now to try to just do regular studies, but one of the things I used to do to practice was I would try to do art that I enjoy, whatever kind of art that is, but I made sure that each time I did something I enjoyed, I included one thing I needed to practice, one thing that I didn't know how to do, because somehow that forced me to have to practice that thing. But I was practicing that thing and something that I was enjoying doing. So whether it was I was putting an animal in that thing, or oh, I'm doing a weird pose that I'd never done, or oh, I have to fix my line art or my anatomy or do the hand or whatever. But I would always make sure I have to have at least one thing that I don't know how to do or I need to practice doing so that I continue to get better. I can't be fully in my comfort zone. You don't grow when you're fully in your comfort zone. Sometimes you can, but yeah, that's at least my little tip for you for your practice. But I hope it goes good. Good luck. It's gonna be a journey. It definitely will be. Yeah, especially when that little whisper in the back of your mind insists that you're not good enough and stuff like that. Oh yeah. I hate to say it, but get used to that whisper. You're gonna have to treat that whisper like they're that annoying, like that just like annoying friend or that annoying person that you just ignore. Like you swat them away. You swat them away every single time they say something. Like give them an annoying voice or something, because they're always going to be there. You're always gonna doubt yourself, but you gotta remember to keep going. So don't let the voice get to you too much. That sounds like a good way to practice. Yeah, it's what I've been doing. No problem. Listen, I am always ready to support people who are like getting into art. It gets me so excited. I love meeting other artists. I love meeting beginner artists. Sometimes I feel like people can be a little too mean to beginner artists because like you guys are starting. Like, if anything, I feel like beginner artists, like you guys need positivity so that y'all can keep going. Like, I can give feedback all I want about your skill and all of that stuff, but at the end of the day, you guys are starting and you need to also have the positivity and the drive to keep going. So if I can like build y'all up and make y'all like excited to draw, like I feel like I've done my job, because I feel like in the beginning, that's what you're running off of. Like that's what needs to fuel you a little bit, is that you are enjoying what you're doing. If you don't enjoy what you're doing at all, that's different. And I mean, like, when I say at all, I mean literally at all. Like, it's one thing to enjoy it, but like sometimes you just have days where you hate it. That's all of us. there's tons of days I hate drawing. There's tons of moments I hate drawing, but at the end of the day, I also know that I do still love it. It's like one of those things. But as long as you still feel that, then you're still doing it right. That's how I see it. But so far, just to catch you up on what we've been reading, I am going through the notes of the people, of the characters. In Aegis is Us, we are a like new type of machine that pretty much possesses a free will. And I am the personal machine of the Queen, Marie Antoinette. So I was sent off to go find, I think, her husband and like figure out what is happening. And then the de Vaucanson, he, I believe, created me. But he also created all of the automats. Well, also, before I even get into the actual story, let me give you a very quick synopsis so you even know what's happening. This is Steelrising. Steelrising is basically, think of the French Revolutions, but with mechanical beings. So automats, robots, whatever you want to call it. It is that. So I am an automat as well. I am basically a robot or whatever, automation, and I am under the possession of the Queen. I am sent out to go figure out what's going on and find her husband, aka Louis the 16th. And Eugene de Vaucanson is the person who had created me. I have free will, but from what we're learning, he also kind of created the rest of the automats, because since we are in a revolution, the automats in this version are kind of like off running rampant throughout all of Paris and have been killing people. And that is what's kind of going on with this revolution. It's like kind of the people against the machines. And Louis the 16th is of course on the side of the machines. But it kind of seems as though he is being led by somebody else named the Calistro, Comte de Calistro. But Eugene de Vaucanson is the person who the king got to continue to upgrade these machines, which now made it where they don't need a lock and key in order to turn on and off. Because we learned through the story bits that we've seen through dialogue that they basically are running off of soul energy, off of essence. So that's what I will say. I won't say too much more. I feel like that's the basics, because at the same time, if you do want to play this game, feel free to lurk. You can feel free to check it out. But if you just feel like chilling out and you don't mind spoilers, then you can keep hanging out with us, because I am going to be reading through all of the Codex people, at least for now. We'll see how my head goes. So we're going to be reading through a lot of the stories, so you're going to find out a lot of stuff. If this is a game that you didn't want spoilers for, this goes for anybody who might be in here lurking. If this is a game that you might have wanted to play, you do care about lore and you don't want spoilers, this is not the stream to watch today. Because it's going to be full of spoilers of what I am up to in the game. And I believe I'm about halfway through it. I believe. That sounds interesting. Yeah, it's honestly a really cool concept. It's a really cool game that I've been enjoying. Okay, cool. You don't mind spoilers? Nice. Yeah, I checked it out because it's supposed to be like a Souls-like, but to me, it's an easier Souls-like. But I must preface this, also take my word with a grain of salt, because I have to remember that I technically have on assist mode. I only have assist mode on for the stamina. Just for anybody who might have been wondering, I do have assist mode on for stamina. I have it to, I think, plus 100%. I don't have it at the max that you can put it on assist mode. So technically halfway on assist mode. Because for me, I just couldn't progress with the stamina bar that I had in the very beginning. And I just never have gone back and fixed it. I've just kept it the same because I am a very panicky person. So for me, being able to dodge a couple of times really helps me, because I like to run away a lot. That's the way I play. I jerk and I panic. So me being able to dodge is like fundamental to me being able to play a game. Like, I'm not even necessarily dodging people the whole time. Sometimes I'm just dodging to run. So I do want to just preface that and say that when I say that it's an easier Soulsborne, but I have seen other people also say that it is an easier Soulsborne. So it's a very good one to get into if you want to start the genre, like me, because I've never played a Souls-like game before. So yeah. I suck at Souls-like games, but I like them still. Yeah, this is my first one. I've never played Souls-like. I do have Elden Ring though on my wish list to play eventually, but I've never played it. Ooh, we don't have a picture yet. That means we haven't met him. The Comte de Provence. The king's first younger brother, the Comte de Provence, commonly known as Monsieur, has little hope of ever ascending to the throne. The Dauphin recently died from illness, but his brother Louis Charles, the Petit Dauphin, replaced him in the order of succession. Consumed with bitterness, Monsieur is often critical of Louis XVI. His true beliefs are difficult to ascertain, although it is possible that he is only interested in defending his own interests. He has chosen to live far from Versailles in the Palais de Luxembourg, where everything reminds him of his misfortune. He leads an idle existence surrounded by his own courtiers. Oh. Because some of these names that I was seeing, I now have to try to like remember who they are, because some of these names I've seen them in dialogue and I didn't realize who they were. Like, for example, the Petit Dauphin, I didn't realize was the royal was like the royal son. I didn't know that. So that changes things, because the Petit Dauphin is supposed to be the next in line for the throne, I believe. Le Comte Alexandre de Calistro. Little is known about the Comte de Calistro, the supposed magician and performer of miracles who first appeared in Versailles in the early 1780s. He is shrouded in mystery and the subject of countless rumors. It is said that his name is oh god, I know this word and I always say it wrong. Pseudonym. I never say it correct. I'm gonna ignore it. We're gonna pretend I didn't say it. And that is his title of count is self-conferred. It is said that he was a monk expelled due to his scandalous behavior. It is also said that he traveled throughout the Middle East for many years, studying the mysteries of necromancy. All that is known for sure is that he worked his way into the court thanks to his healing skills. He secured a privileged status with the king to such a degree that it is now believed he can appoint and dismiss ministers. See, no, but that makes sense. Pseudonym, okay, or pseudonym, rather. Thank you. Because it's like, you know when you read books? When you read books and you know what a word is because you read it all the time, but you never actually ever say the word? That's one of those words for me. So it's like I know it, but I never say it for some reason. I never have to say it. Like, some books have you saying words wrong so much. You're like, yeah, I know this word. I say it all the time. And then you actually say it and it's never right. But this makes sense because, like I was saying, we are finding out that, like, pretty much the way that they're being powered is through souls. So when we're killing these other automats, the reason why we're gaining essence is because we're gaining the essence that the automats gained from killing humans. Because every soul that these automats kill, every person that these automats kill, they consume their soul, which is why we're able to get like noble soul, like noble essence and all of that type of stuff, because that is how they're being powered. Just like how we learned that like those stations that help us, that fix us, are also powered by essence, which means that they're also powered by the souls of people, which is why everybody else can't go outside, because all of those little checkpoints for us are technically infecting them. Like, things are starting to make sense. Things are starting to make sense with the story. Because there were just certain things that I didn't catch in the beginning. Franz Anton Mesmer, born in Baden, Franz Anton Mesmer, a trained physician, published On the Influence of the Planets on the Human Body in 1766. In this pamphlet, he developed a new theory that there was a mutual influence between celestial bodies, the Earth, and living bodies, a phenomenon related to a purported magnetic fluid. Convinced of the therapeutic benefits of magnets, he attracted a number of wealthy patients all over Europe. He was said to be able to cure a wide range of ailments, from smallpox to blindness. He settled in Paris in 1778 and built up a clientele within the upper echelons of society who were willing to pay his exorbitant fees without batting an eye. He was soon acclaimed at court as the high priest of animal magnetism, the celestial dowser, the intermediary between man, the earth, and the cosmos. Unfortunately, in 1784, the king commissioned a committee of the Academy of Sciences whose members included such illustrious names as Lavoisier, Bailey, and Benjamin Franklin to assess the merits of Mesmer's theories. Their verdict was clear. The principles and methods of the doctor from Baden were pure quackery. Franz Anton Mesmer was brutally rejected and had to pursue his research in the shadows. He swore to prove his theory and regain his reputation, so he took on a certain Comte de Cagliostro as a partner, who was sure that he could perfect Mesmer's techniques and inventions. Today, no one knows what happened to Monsieur Mesmer. He left the kingdom without warning one fine day in 1786, abandoning everything he owned. As for his work, it is whispered that his mysterious assistant is secretly continuing it on his behalf. Man. So he also is working with the Cagliostro. And if he is, like, supposed to be this whole guy with, like, what was it? The human body, the cosmos, and what else was it? Oh, wrong thing. I forgot. I'm looking at it with my controller. It was the celestial bodies, the earth, and living bodies. It's, like, too much to do with, like, life and death to me still. Especially considering that the Comte de Cagliostro, quite frankly, literally, went to learn about necromancy. So it makes me feel like something happened to this man. Either something happened to this man, and there's something very odd about their mysterious worker that's there in his place, or he ran away when he found out what was actually happening. But either way, he definitely helped figure out what is going on between the cosmos and all the stuff, because, like, even when we are fighting these bosses are machines that we're fighting, but they are also technically, from what it seems as though, we haven't been proven yet, but it seems as though they're also the souls of the important figures that we are saving, because they're inside of caskets. So it's almost like he's preserving these souls in these caskets and using whatever that soul energy is, because you still see the essence within it, and the essence kind of goes back into them. So I'm guessing they take the essence out of these people, put them into these big bosses, and then those people are basically, like, just inside of their casket fighting as these bosses. And they're only freed after we've beat the boss and the essence goes back into the casket or whatever the machine is, and then we can free them. So they're doing some type of thing with, like, life and death and all of that stuff. It's really cool. Right? It's so cool. Maximilien de Robespierre. A lawyer from Arras, Maximilien de Robespierre gained fame in his province through his idealistic writings influenced by the work of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, an advocate of universalism. He argued for strict equality between human beings, regardless of their sex, social status, or skin color. He was elected as a people's representative to the Estates General and left Arras for Versailles in May 1789. Between official sessions, he threw himself wholeheartedly into the vibrant community of patriots and became acquainted with several important political figures, including Monsieur Necker and Monsieur de Mirabeau. His fiery speeches against the absolute power of the monarchy won him a small group of loyal followers from the people, workers, and humble craftsmen who were ready to follow him blindly and revolt if the opportunity arose. Okay. Well, you know what? This makes sense, because this guy had a very funny moment the last time we played, because we were talking to, oh goodness, what's the guy's name? We're gonna get to him. There's one black guy in this story so far, and like at first I was like, oh yeah, black man, you know, we doing it. He's the guy is talking to us. He's like, you know, they ain't right with how they're doing all the stuff to the slaves over in his country, and we need to go and look into it, because they want to kind of make almost like zombie slaves or something like that, right? Like there's some type of medicine. But so we're having this whole conversation, and this man comes out of nowhere. He walks over like, so I know that you're saying all the stuff about how like it's wrong to have slaves, but aren't you a hypocrite? Because don't you own a plantation? And the guy is like, what do you mean? Like that's different. He's like, well, if you're saying all the stuff about owning slaves, then free them. Like, why are you keeping them? And the guy is just like, well, what would I look like doing that when I'm going to be freeing them and they have no education and all of the stuff? And I'm kind of like, well, if you're talking about all this, then why don't you educate them? And like Maximilian is like, yeah, you know, I don't understand why you're going off so much. I mean, this is really bad. We need to go fix this. But like, I don't know why you're going off so much about this when you got slaves. And then one of the other guys comes over and he's like, I don't even own slaves. I have workers. They get paid and everything. And everybody just jumped in like, yeah, you know, you talking about this, but like, I don't even own anything. Like, it was wild. It was the most wild thing I experienced last week. I was not expecting it. Also, hello, Mr. White. I love the way you explain the story. Oh, well, thank you. One thing to know about me, because I know you came during a Satisfactory stream, I really like lore. I get very into stories. If a game, I should say, has any type of story or lore, I'm gonna get into it. So today is kind of dedicated to me reading through the codex, because the last time I played, we acquired a lot of like side quests, and we got to talk to a lot of people last week. And the story started getting really interesting because of the dialogues. But I realized that like I probably wasn't paying as much attention to certain things in the very beginning, or I got mixed up with certain characters and who was who. So I was like, you know, I really want to spend a stream just reading through the codex, seeing who everybody is, so I can start to make my connections. Because it also kind of starting to seem like we might get certain side quests where like we have to choose between certain things, or we might have to make a choice possibly. So I want to be prepared, because this is a spider game, and the last game I played from them was Greedfall, and I remember that in Greedfall I did have moments where I had to make some choices, and I really enjoyed Greedfall. And I think I also had a day in Greedfall where I just read through the codex. So I was like, you know what, it's about time that I do that today. But also, how are you doing, Mr. White? Welcome in. I'm not totally feeling fantastic, so that's another reason why I think it's gonna be just a codex stream, and then we're gonna probably be done today, because I had a bit of a headache. I probably still do, because I have my glasses on while reading this. But yeah, I hope you're doing good. That's what we're doing. But yeah, so this makes sense of who he is. All right, the Comte de Mirabeau, honor. Also, please don't come for me for my French. I'm not very good at it. I apologize to any French speakers if I am butchering any of these words. I'm sorry. Honor Gabriel Requetti, the Comte de Mirabeau, had a troubled youth. Gambling debts loose morals, desertion, adultery, all. I'm hoping my mom will grab it. Because I live with my parents. That is why we have a house phone. And I forgot I put it right next to me earlier so I could hear it. That just threw me off. You're doing well, playing Satisfactory while you watch and listen to your stream. I hope you feel better soon. Thank you. I also hope that Satisfactory is going fantastic for you. Like, I'm imagining like you probably have like this really, really big, cool factory. I hope one day I can get to that. I'm excited for when it can happen. All of which led to long stays in the royal jails. It was not until 1780 that he agreed to settle down and devote his phenomenal energy to his talents as a journalist and writer. In his works, he was relentless in his condemnation of the injustices of the time, from arbitrary imprisonment to the plight of slaves in the French colonies. This is how he became involved with the founders of the Société des Amis des Noirs. When the king convened the Estates General, Mirabeau wanted to be elected as a representative of the nobility. Rejected by his peers, he sat with the Third Estate in Versailles. This about-face earned him a reputation in the political sphere as a weather vane. A forceful and charismatic speaker, he garnered immense popular support during the debates. As a result, the aristocracy now harbors a fierce hatred of him. So he kind of be flip-flopping. But also like a criminal at the same time. You think you might head out, had a tiring day, you're gonna take a quick nap. Then you might whip up some monsters for Ooh, fun! I hope your monsters go really good. I'm gonna be playing a session 1 of D&D on Sunday, so I'm excited. But I hope that you get some good rest. Please take care of yourself. Get your good nap. Get some food if you need to. But thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with me, Eldritch. I really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a good weekend also. So yeah, have a good nap. Okay, so he's a straight up criminal, basically. This man. Yes, I'm a bit of a newbie D&D player, but I've been playing for about a year. So yeah, but yeah, have a good weekend. The Marquis de Lafayette. Gilbert Moutier de Lafayette was born in the nobility of the Auvergne region of France and had a meteoric rise. Orphaned, a wealthy heir, and having inherited the title of Marquis at the age of 13, he left his native province to join the army. At 18, overcome by a passion for new ideas, he left to join the fight for American independence, despite a ban imposed by the king. 4 years later, he returned to the kingdom in glory. Making the most of his immense popularity, he set out to push for the reforms that the kingdom desperately needed. Among other things, he lobbied for a reduction in taxation on the poorest, improvement of the conditions for prisoners, and abolition of lettres de cachet. In addition, he joined the Société des Amis des Noirs and acquired a plantation in Guinea, where he emancipated, employed, and educated the former slaves. This was the guy I also was talking about. When the Estates General was convened, he was nominated as a representative by an enlightened section of the nobility. He did not make much of an impression during the debates, preferring to let orators eager for popularity, such as the Comte de Mirabeau, take the floor. Having sensed the crisis that was brewing, he opted to place his pawns in secret and work towards the new France that would emerge from the terrible conflict. Okay, that makes sense too, because de Lafayette, from what we've heard during regular dialogue, one, he did say that he employed all of his people. Like he freed all of the slaves from the plantation, and then he employed them and like educated them and whatnot. And so far, from times that we've talked to him, he is more of like a military man, as opposed to everybody else that we talk to are like scientists, nobility, aristocracy, like royal people who were like close to the royal family. And he is very much He's like, listen, I got a job for you to do. I need for you to do this for me today. He's like, oh, so they're gonna leave. They took all of the like gunpowder. Great, bring that back to us for the revolution. Like, don't leave that. No, 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 no. We can use that for our guns when we fight these automats. Like, don't be silly. That's basically him. All right, let's bring the list up a little bit and then we'll go in. All right. Jacques Necker. Oh, we freed Necker last time we played. I remember Necker. Jacques Necker, I think so at least. Jacques Necker was a banker from Geneva who grew wealthy through his involvement with the East India Company. Believing his fortune to be made, he offered his services to the king, who appointed him Director General of Finance. Despite appearances, this admirer of Rosier, hopefully they'll say it eventually in dialogue and I'll know the pronunciation, always questioned and criticized the very notion of property. In an effort to put his beliefs into practice, he initiated reforms to improve the condition of the poor, prisoners, and the sick. Privately, he and his wife Suzanne founded the charity Hospice of Saint Sulpice and Gros Caillou. Although these initiatives made him an immensely popular minister, they aroused the king's suspicions. He was dismissed in 1781 and then recalled 7 years later under public pressure to straighten out the kingdom's finances. Faced with the need to levy new taxes, he convinced Louis XVI to convene the Estates General, a decision that would lead to his downfall. Okay. Well, then maybe that is why people seem to not like him. Because I don't remember the exact words, but I remember it being where, like, when he joined the little squad in our, like, protective barricade area, all the other people were like, oh, you can't trust him, and all this stuff. And I'm trying to remember if he's the one who ran. Because one of these people, so one of the other things that happened was one of these people, they went, and I may probably look during the side quest. We were talking about how there's like a chest. There's a chest in one of these places that we need to go open. And the guy was like, oh, well, it's supposed to be an impenetrable chest where the only thing that can open it is the key or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So you should go talk to, and he gives us 2 people, you should go talk to them about how to open it. So we go to talk to them, and they're both like, whoever the 2 people are, because I forget which ones they were. They tell us to go talk to them, and then we talk to them, and they're like, I can't help you with this. Like, what are you talking about? I can't help you with this. Who sent you to us? And I think it was like Necker. So we're like, oh, well, they sent us it. And he was like, we can't help you with that. And eventually everybody realizes that he left. And I think it was Necker. I think it was him, because they left and everybody's like, what do you mean he left? Like, what do you mean he just went out there into the dangerousness of the city when he asked you to talk to us about how to open this chest for him? So I feel like he's going to try to, whoever it was, they're going to go and try and open it up before we can get to it. Antoine Levasseur, born into a wealthy family, Antoine Levasseur was educated in many areas of study. He worked hard and held positions as diverse as director of the National Bank and gunpowder commissioner. Although these activities earned him a fortune, he invested all of it in his research laboratory. The research laboratory. I always say laboratory because of like Dexter's laboratory. A shrine to knowledge where he invented modern chemistry. An honored scientist and eminent member of the Royal Academy of Sciences, he nevertheless sided with the people. At the Estates General, he espoused moderate reformist positions that aroused the distrust and hostility of both the king and the most radical revolutionaries. Okay, that makes sense. I don't really have much to say about him. Jean-Sylvain Bailly had a passion for astronomy and was allowed to set up a private observatory in the Louvre. His work was praised and was accepted into the Royal Academy of Sciences. Despite receiving royal honors, he took up the case of the people very early on and was chosen to represent them at the Estates General. On the 20th of June, 1789, he swore the tennis court oath, by which the deputies of the Third Estate pledged not to be separated, a vow that has earned him the hostility of the king. Okay. You're also about where I thought you were? Julien Raymond. Oh, this was the guy that I was saying about the whole thing with the slaves. Born in Saint Domingo to a family from Landis and a mixed-race mother, Julien Raymond is a free person of color in the eyes of colonial law, a status that allowed him to establish and expand a large indigo plantation. Determined to fight prejudice of color, he traveled to Paris in 1784 to plead his case before the king and his ministers. Although these efforts met with little success, he has continued to condemn the atrocities suffered by slaves in the colonies ever since. In the course of his long campaign, he forged strong friendships with several abolitionists, including Jacques Pierre Brissot and Abbe Grégoire, founding members of the Société des Amitiés Noires. Alright. Abbe Grégoire, a parish priest from Embermesnil in Lorraine, Henry Grégoire stood against injustice and inequality from the moment he took his vows. In particular, he championed the cause of Jews and Protestants against the prejudices they suffered, condemned the misery inflicted on rural priests by church officials, and promoted the cause of enslaved black people in the colonies. He was elected to be representative of the clergy at the Estates General and left Lorraine for Versailles with Monseigneur de la Fère, the Bishop of Nancy. He publicly opposed slavery, absolutism, and the privileges of the nobility, and even left his order to join the ranks of the Third Estate, much to the displeasure of His Majesty. Ooh, lots of words to read. I can see where I'm starting to turn to gibberish. Okay. That makes sense with how I remember them talking. Henry de la Fère, Bishop of Nancy, born into a penniless family from the historic nobility of Languedoc, Henry de la Fère quietly went about his ministry until the Estates General of 1789. He was elected as a representative of the clergy and chosen to deliver the sermon at the opening mass, but an unfortunate choice of words earned him the hostility of the king. No matter how much he apologized and explained himself, he did not receive a royal pardon. I think this is the guy that gave us the key to be able to get into one of the buildings that we need to go into. I remember he had on red, and I think that he had it because he was able to give the sermon. Okay. The Chateau de Saint Cloud was acquired by the king in 1784 and is the queen's refuge. She summers there with her children and closest courtiers for the past 2 years, as the king has exhausted almost all of the kingdom's resources to make automats. The building and the estate have been poorly maintained. Okay. Cool. These are the different places. The population of this Faubourg more than tripled with the advent of the Great Mechanical Revolution. Although it has kept its rural character, half of its inhabitants are now employed in the factories at Les Invalides. This leads straight to the Vaugirard, a wasteland where excrement, rubbish, and animal corpses pile up. Travelers prefer to avoid this dark place. The road, which is not well traveled, is conducive to all kinds of trafficking. For more than a century, the imposing Hôtel des Invalides has provided shelter, food, and assistance to wounded soldiers. In June 1789, it houses many survivors of the wars that were waged under the reign of Louis XV. as well as veterans of the American War of Independence who are unflinchingly loyal to the Marquis de Lafayette. Okay, no wonder that I think that hotel was so important, because we had to free like that hotel at some point. It was built in 1775 on the orders of Louis XVI that Eugene de Vaucanson sparked the Great Mechanical Revolution. This is where he elaborates his designs and carries out his experiments for the crown. Alright. I'm not reading through all of the locations, as you can see. Only the ones that I feel like might have some story that I care about. Because some of the stuff are just roads that we've been through and aren't that much. The Great Mechanical Revolution was the source of Eugene de Vaucanson's fame and fortune. Thanks to the considerable sums paid to him by the king since the start of his reign, he built this luxurious townhouse where he lives with his daughter, Athenaeus, and a few servants. Ah, okay, yes, this is where we saw the daughter, like, run away. Hey. A lot of these are just random places that we've been to. Okay, is there anything else besides places that we can look into? Okay, and then we just have the different types of automats. Like, I don't really feel the need to read through the different types. Sometimes they're fun. I'll read a couple. The dextral prototype holds its weapon in its right hand when it is deployed with one or more sinistral prototypes. It can confuse its opponents. Due to the need to produce a large number of automat soldiers quickly, prototypes have not received the same treatment as their more sophisticated counterparts. These machines, with a varied appearance and unpredictable behavior, are flawed due to a rust design, inferior materials, and short testing periods. They frequently malfunction. Oh, that's why they probably act the way they do. Yeah, they're sometimes fun to read through, but I know sometimes the enemy designs can get a little a lot. But like, let's look at the harder one. Oh, it was once used for harvesting. The harvester uses its basket to create violent shock waves that inflict devastating internal injuries on its enemies. In addition, it exploits the opponent's weaknesses to bring them down with its alchemical breath. Once assigned to botanical and agricultural tasks on the royal estates, these multi-armed automats were endowed with an astonishing ability to blend into the background from the start. With their unpredictable movements, they have become masters of camouflage and ambushes. That makes it... Wow, so these were supposed to be harvesters? Like, these were just they were just agricultural things. Oh, that's actually so interesting. That's what they were actually made for. The guards were once tasked with protecting homes and public spaces. They've been modified for military use and are confined to limited and predefined areas. Because of their relatively basic design, they sometimes malfunction during combat. Oh, that's so cool. Were these just pets? When they were still innocent leisure automatons, mechanical felines were the playthings of aristocratic children. Their jumping, attacking, and dodging, depending on the species that inspired their design, have been improved to meet the needs of combat. These quick and agile machines are designed to hunt in packs and try to surprise their prey and grab it by the throat. This strategy makes up for their relative structural fragility. Oh, that's actually, it's kind of cool to see, like, the reasons they were made. Arachnid automats were exceptionally stable thanks to their 8 limbs. They were used by members of high society to send and receive mail and other small items. Recent improvements have made them stronger and faster, and they are now used for a variety of purposes by the Royal Mechanical Army. Oh, that actually makes so much sense, because they are full of boxes. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. Like, I'm kind of just reading that, like, bottom paragraph because it's kind of the general idea of what they all were used for. Automats designed purely for entertainment, musicians are the most complex machines ever designed in Eugene de Vaucanson's workshop. Their wide range of behaviors and extreme mobility gave them pride of place in the Royal Mechanical Army. Their instruments have been converted for military use, and they now form a corps of fearsome fighters with sprightly moves that are hard to predict. Oh, that's so cool. I really love looking at the design of all of them, too. Originally designed for use by the high clergy to celebrate Mass and provide protection for church officials, acolytes, I never say that word right. Acolytes have undergone substantial modifications. Their sensors are now used as flails. So these guys were used for the clergy? Oh wow, that's weird. Butcher and okay, so these guys are technically the same. Before being armed and made part of the Clockwork Army, the cook served in the kitchen of the Grand Commune, responsible for preparing royal meals. Their abdomens, once designed to accommodate various domestic tasks, now deliver a variety of deadly short-range attacks. So they really were just like butchers and whatnot. Wow, that's so cool. Oh, and these are hunters. Created specifically to serve the royal army, hunters are aggressive automats of war. Inspired by birds of prey, they have wings and talons that are used to strike, pierce, and slash at the enemy. They are also remarkably mobile. They sure are. I hate them. Okay, this one oh, I do see it. They do have the wings. I never even noticed they have the wings. I'm too busy running away from them all the time. Oh, that's so cool. And they're the laborers. These mechanical workers and craftsmen were designed to work on the great royal construction sites. Improved and then put into military service, they now form His Majesty's Military Engineer Corps. Despite their lack of mobility, they are no longer restricted to their original functions and are now well suited to close quarters combat. Alright, these ones make sense. Because even when you're fighting them, they like stop halfway through each time so they can like fix themselves. Oh, okay, what about these? Inspired by medieval military engineering, rams are used in sieges. Oh, that makes sense. The only difference between these tall, slow, yet relentless bipeds is in how they are armed. That makes sense. Ah, yes, this is what I wanted to get up to. Titans. The Bishop of the City. Reserved for the punishment of Monseigneur de la Fère, the bishop is shaped like an orb with a pulpit on top where a parody of a priest presides. The orb is kept in balance with a clever assembly of pendulums and weights, giving it exceptional mobility. It is equipped with a harpoon inspired by maritime grappling hooks and a retractable rotating saw that leaves its opponents little chance. The bishop's instruments of torture are inspired by Monseigneur de la Fère's role. Instead of offering blessings, its staff delivers ferocious blows. Its gigantic Bible flail allows it to bring lost sheep back into the fold. Even worse, this automat can burst into flames when it begins to lose, making it a nearly invincible opponent. It can be found in the Cour de Mai at the Palais de Justice, where its role is to ensure that the seat of power remains in the hands of the crown. Ah, okay. I figured that they all would be, like, based off of their people. That makes sense. The Selenite of the Louvre. Assembled specifically for Monsieur Bailly, the Selenite, the name given to the inhabitants of the moon, has an appearance that calls to mind the science so dear to the unfortunate astronomer. Forged in the shape of a crescent moon, the blade of its scythe has the striking ability to channel lightning. Its shield, which bears the image of a sun, protects its protects it effectively from enemy attacks and allows it to summon the fire of Provis. The momentum, a revolutionary device unique to this machine, gives it remarkable mobility and speed. Oh, that makes sense. It's so cool to see how they designed these bosses based off of the people they were supposed to hold captive. The Alchemist of Luxembourg. Ironically, the Titan destined to imprison the soul of Antoine Lavoisier, the father of chemistry, uses the progress made possible by his breakthroughs for murderous purposes. The Alchemist's chimney provides the combustion needed to keep it running. When needed, it can also produce a wave of fire with devastating effects. The Titan's arsenal includes vials filled with noxious chemical compounds designed to keep the enemy at bay. Its pestle and mortar is used to inflict destructive blows as well as extensive ice and electrical attacks. With its electromechanical ram, the alchemist can dodge enemy assaults in a flash as well as carry out fast charges and destructive kicks. And last of the bosses, so far, the Treasurer of Les Invalides. The Treasurer was designed to house the soul of Jacques Necker. I think it was Necker that disappeared the other day. This portly biped is crafted in the image of an ancient fortress. Its appearance refers to the care with which the former minister safeguarded the money and state secrets in his possession. The key the treasurer wields is a fearsome blunt weapon. In addition, when it inserts it into the lock on its chest, it can release a device that channels lightning, unleash a swarm of flying bombs on the enemy, or deliver a devastating charge attack. Very cool. Alright. I don't believe I have anything in here that I haven't read before. I'm not going to read through the notes again. I also don't think I'm going to look through the echoes again, because I've seen the echoes at least. I feel like what I did read has helped me a lot. I will read back through my side quests and stuff, because we're going to do that next week, so I kind of want a refresher of what we're going to be doing. Real question is, am I going to read through the whole thing or not? Because these things are really long. Let's see. Having sent her message, Aegis is now waiting for the queen to give her new instructions. She's free to continue with the task she has already started, while keeping an eye out for new clues as the circumstances surrounding the Dauphine stuff. Okay, so I can't do the memory of the Dauphine yet, because I have to wait for the queen. Origins. Oh yeah, this is for Athenaeus. Athenaeus often spends time wandering in the Luxembourg garden. What if she has gone there to hide? So I'm gonna have to go there to get her. I never found the writers. Where could the squad of horsemen sent to the Gros Caillou by the Marquise de Lafayette have disappeared to? In order to find them, Aegis must retrace their steps to the garrison at the Hotel de Lafayette. So I still need to find that one. Oh yeah, and then I need to do this. In search of Suzanne Necker. To find out what happened to Madame Necker, Aegis must inspect Ingles Saint-Marie in Faubourg Saint-Germain near Les Invalides. And then, when asked about the Armoire de Feu, Monsieur de Marabout claimed to be unaware of its existence. He told Aegis to ask so it wasn't Necker. It was Marabout who disappeared. Claimed to be unaware of its existence. He told Aegis to ask Monsieur Bailey and Monsieur Lavoisier about it. Unfortunately, the two scientists were unable to help Aegis. They were surprised that Monsieur de Marabout had told her to come to them, and even more surprised that he had left the convent in such a hurry. If Aegis hopes to get her hands on its contents, she must examine the Armoire de Feu in the Tuileries Palace. That's what it was. So we need to go see his wife and find the armoire. Sleepless. The chaos that... Oh, this is about the slaves. The chaos that reigns in Paris seems to be conducive to a break-in at the townhouse where the most influential colonists meet west of Les Halles. And then the gunpowder trail. Aegis must make her way to Les Invalides, visit the hangar near the factories, and make sure that the gunpowder has not fallen into enemy hands. And this one is where I think I'm going to have to choose between throwing it out or using it as a resource for us. To find out what metals the lanterns are made of, Aegis must visit the factories near Eugene de Vaucanson's workshop. Oh yeah, because this is so that... This is probably, hopefully, one of the last side quests I'll do, because supposedly we're finding out that the checkpoints that we use are harmful to the people. So we kind of... I have a feeling we're going to end up having to destroy them, but that will also mean that I have less checkpoints for myself. Eventually. So we're going to do that last. Nicholas Flamel's final journey. Aegis must find Nicholas Flamel's crypt. The tomb is located in the cemetery of Église Saint-Jacques de la Bolchière in the Hotel de Ville quarter east of the Châtelet. Alright. Okay, I feel like I've caught up very well with the story. I feel like I know what's going on now. I also, unfortunately, do not think I'm going to play any side quests today. It's not that kind of day for me, unfortunately. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back to the main menu for us. I feel feeling kind of crappy today, not gonna lie. And honestly, we might just end. I don't think we're gonna do a raid tonight. I think we might just end off for our stuff. And actually, just so I remember not to, just so I remember that I had changed the volume, I'm gonna fix the volume and then I'm gonna turn my stuff off. Save that. We're gonna turn off my secondary music so that it's not double. Oh, and then I'm gonna swap over here. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me today. I know that we only did codex reading, but you know, that's kind of what I said it was gonna be today. So it's not like I wasn't honest. I definitely made sure that you guys could know so that people who wanted to hear the codex could hear the codex. People who didn't want to hear the codex could, you know, come back when we play the game more. But now that the codex has been read, now next Friday, I should be able to progress the game. Oh, thank you, Mr. White. I'm happy that you enjoyed hearing about the lore of Steelrising today. I'm very excited about being able to play more because now, as you probably might have heard, we have a lot of side quests now. Like, I acquired so many side quests the last time I played, and that was part of why I was like, okay, I need to start to know who these people are. Like, I need to read through these people's, like, little codex entries and find out their lore because it's just so much happening. And I want to make sure that I'm not getting people mixed up and that I understand like where they lie on the spectrum of like, I guess maybe even good or bad or whatever it is, or just like where their head is at. Because if this is kind of similar to how I remember Greedfall being, like I do remember kind of needing to side with people sometimes, or trying to get people to like me eventually, so we're gonna see what happens. Hi Roger, hopefully you've been just lurking because they're actually kind of about to end. But how are you doing, Roger? I hope that you've been good. We just been reading through the codex today. I've just been very kind of out of it today. I've been a bit tired, kind of have a headache. Been a little burnt out from art because of the convention. Just been an overall blah. So, but like I said earlier, I refuse to cancel stream today. I have pushed back this stream and canceled this specific stream so many times to do the codex reading of Steelrising that I refuse to do it. I was not going to allow myself to do it. So I was like, we're just gonna have to push through and I'll just stream as long as my body allows me to. And at the moment, my body is saying that 2 hours is enough. So I'm probably gonna go and like get some water. It sounds like, well, not sounds like, it smells like my mom has made blueberry muffins. I'm gonna go get some of that. I'm gonna make myself a sandwich. I'm gonna chill for the rest of the night. Yeah, I'm gonna just relax. Which, by the way, because of course I still have little announcements. I'm happy though, next week should be a fairly normal week for me, for streams, thank God. Because as y'all have probably noted, these last 2 weeks have been stream heavy for me. I normally only do 3 streams a week, max. It's been very stream heavy for me. I will not have a Tuesday stream next week. It won't happen. I say that to also preface the fact that I won't be streaming tomorrow. But I will be playing a game with 2 people who will be streaming tomorrow. So if you want to check out Beijing Shinobi or Macaball Games, the 3 of us will be playing Elder Scrolls Online tomorrow. So you'll be able to hear whatever shenanigans I'm saying in the mics while I play ESO tomorrow with them at 7 p.m. So you guys can feel free to check them out. I'll put their links in. Actually, Shinobi is also playing. Maybe we'll actually go and raid Shinobi instead today. Yeah, maybe we'll raid Shinobi. What is up with this whole Twitch stuff going on lately? Oh, unless they're about to end. Because it seems like they're rolling credits. So if they might be about to end their stream. So I don't know. But yeah, Twitch has been really like, every time I look at a game, they're like, oh, this game is rated for mature audiences. It might not be suitable for everyone. I just tried to look at Shinobi's stream to click on it, and they had a whole entire, like, thing pop up saying, are you sure you want to watch? This might be too adult. I'm just like, dang, man. I mean, I know that it's, like, Dead Island with some zombies, but, like, man, it would be funny if they were rating me. But you know what? My hope is that they'll know not to, because I have up this screen. Usually if I have up this screen at some point, that means I'm about to end. I'm about to get off. Also, how are you doing, Akeem? I hope that you're doing good. But, oh, let me still post the link to them. Oh, no, I think they swapped to Killer Frequency. Okay, so we can still raid them if we want. But let me still put it in here for anybody who might want to see tomorrow, because like I said, I won't be streaming it, but I will be in ESO tomorrow with them. So then they both will be. But you know, you can check out Shinobi. They'll have the link in there for Mac tomorrow. I'm doing decent. I have to sometimes get in the habit of when I'm not feeling good to not just say I'm fine automatically. It's part of why we're having a shorter stream. We're about to get off today. I'm not really feeling fantastic. I'm gonna get off, we're gonna raid Shinobi, and I'm gonna go relax for the rest of the night. Like, before stream even started, I was late for stream, and like, I just was laying on the couch. Just laying on the couch. Arm just straight up, like, face just straight in my arm, just laying there, pulling myself together to stream. But we did it, we read through the codex. I'm very excited, though, for next Friday. Like I said, tomorrow will be Elder Scrolls Online, and the next week will be a normal week. Well, normal-ish. Because I'm probably also tired because I'm gonna have cramps. So, 50-50 if I will have a Wednesday stream. That's always important. That's why I always do tell y'all when I'm gonna probably have cramps. Because Wednesday is 50-50 if I will have a Wednesday stream. Monday stream should still be fine. I should be playing Hollow Knight on Monday. And then on Friday, I should be back to Steelrising. And that is how things should go for the week. And that is all the streams I'll be doing next week, which is going to be great. Which is what I wish that it was like. Because the last 2 weeks I had at least 4 streams each week, where like I streamed almost every day. Meanwhile, all I wanted to do was take a break from doing that convention. So like I never gave my voice an actual rest. Since I did the convention, I never actually gave it a rest. Which is why, I don't know if you noticed, but like sometimes I feel like my voice keeps almost going out. I think I quite literally need water every single day that I stream, because like my voice is just, my voice box is just like, yo, girl, please stop talking. Like, it's like just begging me to stop talking. But I also can't help it because I like talking to you guys, you know? I like talking to y'all. Yeah, I'll probably feel a little better after I get some rest. But I'm still happy I got to see you guys and hang out with y'all. So, but yeah, I'm going to stop talking. Like I just finished saying I tend to have a hard time doing, so that I can end off stream and we will send the love over to Shinobi. But as always, you can feel free to also check out my links if you want to find me anywhere. Let me put it in there. Everything you need to find about me is inside of my card, whether it is my newsletter sign up, which by the way, my new newsletter should be coming out towards the beginning of the month, so it's always a good time to sign up if you would like to. But also inside of there is my coffee, where you can also find my newsletter after it has been posted. I post it there as well in case people want to still see the newsletter and see what it kind of has in there before you decide to maybe sign up for emails. So you can also check it out to see all of my past newsletters as well. Let me put that in there too. You can do that. Also inside of my card is my shop, my Twitter, my Instagram, my commissions, which are open. Every single thing you need to find about me is in there. Just make sure you scroll, because sometimes the way it shows up on my card, it makes it seem like I only have the 4 that pop up right away. Just keep going. You will find it all. I have them separated based off of art and gaming links. So if you want to follow like my gaming Instagram, you just have to go down to the gaming section. So that is how you can find all of my links. Yeah, I think that should be everything to tell you guys for today. So yeah. Oh, and then because you say that, Roger, because I remember you replied to my tweet. I did figure out what I'm gonna do about my YouTube video, because I had tweeted about how me having to edit my stream, like, because I was trying it out, made me realize I talk way too much. And I've decided I will still have my archive account. My archive account will stay my archive account, and I will have a separate YouTube. So eventually I will be making a new YouTube channel with edited videos, because I think I can manage that a lot easier. So I will of course let you guys know when the edited, like the new one comes out, and it will be Let's Plays. Roger probably has seen the tweet that somebody else posted about how, oh, if you're gonna make a YouTube account, you have to know your niche, and here's some tips. And the first tip was like, Let's Plays are dead, don't do it. And I don't care, because I do what I want, and I like Let's Plays. I guess I'm the one weird person that still likes to watch Let's Plays on YouTube, and I tend to sometimes get mad when there's not any Let's Plays of games I want to see on YouTube. So I'm going to post Let's Plays. That's going to be what my content will be. I will let you guys know when I post it. Obviously, it will still be old content for you guys, because it's going to be my streams, but edited down into more digestible chunks. But I will say this, they still will be a little easier to watch, because one, they will be more digestible chunks. I'm editing out all of the times I talk a lot, like now, all the times I pause because I might have needed to text somebody on my phone, or I was talking in chat and it just was a long pause. All of that stuff is getting edited out, and it's going to be in more digestible chunks. And because I can fix audio a little bit, I don't have them on separate audio slots, but like still, I don't talk during cutscenes, so I can adjust the audio, because sometimes, for example, on Steelrising, the audio for you guys is really low, but the audio of me is really loud. So with this edit, it's made me realize that I can make the viewing experience a little better by making it where y'all can actually hear the game, like during important parts. So there is at least that. So the first game I will probably post on that channel will be Steelrising, because I do have so many videos of Steelrising and I'm still playing it, and I can just go through and try to edit those things and have some stuff going up. And then probably the next one will be Hollow Knight, because I've started Hollow Knight. But you know, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll even go back and edit a different old video. But we'll see how it is. But yeah, I editing that video made me realize how much I actually talk. Like it didn't actually dawn on me how much I actually talk during streams until I watched it. I quite literally cut out a good like hour of the video just from me editing out moments of me talking, moments of me pausing, or like these beginning segments or ending segments when I just talk for like 20 minutes before I end, cut out a whole hour. So that let me know right away how much I talk. So on that note, let me start this raid before I keep talking, because every time Roger comes, every single time Roger comes, I end up talking for like an hour. So I gotta leave, or else I will just stay here, and I can feel my throat going out. So I gotta start the raid. I gotta start it up. Let me go to the thingy. I am gonna blame you, but like, think of it like this: it's not a bad blame. I mean, it's not a bad thing that you make me talk, but you make me talk. You can't help it, because you also have the gift of gab. So it's like, it messes us both up, because we both have the gift of gab. We both just be talking. That's why you have a whole thing with just Rogering. That's why it exists. That is why it exists. So let me put in Shinobi, because I think they're still going. So we're gonna go in here. We're gonna raid Shinobi. Listen, you say that like I'm wrong, Roger. You know I'm not. But you guys can feel free to copy down the raid message. We're gonna go over there. We're gonna raid Shinobi. They're supposedly still playing Dead Island 2. So we're gonna go over there and chill with them. I'm gonna kind of raid and run, because like I said, I don't really feel the best. My throat is kind of giving out from me talking still. I'm gonna probably go just chill and eat some food and blueberry muffins and call it a night. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Even Roger, who talks a lot, but I talk a lot too, so it's fine. Thank you for everybody who came by, whether you said hi, you lurked, whatever it may be. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with me. We will play some Steelrising next Friday. So if you want to actually see Steelrising, feel free to come back next week, because I will actually be playing it next week. So thank you guys for just listening to me read and geek out about lore a lot. And I will see you guys next week.